tackling was a lot better technically, fundamentally. What did you see? What was it like during the week? What was the emphasis on?
I think guys were just more, focused. Of course, coming off a loss, it sends a, uneasy feeling. Or again, I'm speaking for myself, but I think just helped. Guys were a lot more focused in trying to do their job perfectly and play together. And I think it definitely showed up, like you said, tackling and all that. So guys just working their craft and trying to perfect it.
Well, what's the film session like for you as a defense when there are game-changing plays and a lot of good things, but also some big chunk plays and things that you guys want to clean up?
Right. Again, I'd like to say I'm speaking from my perspective, but in wins you want to kind of critique yourself a little bit more. How look at the bad plays and see how you could have made those better. Because even though we won, we want to still make corrections unless you somehow played a perfect game where there's nothing to correct. So, yeah, sorry, I just forgotten where I was going with that, but yeah.
Do you ever watch you ever watch something like a Roquan Smith when you're watching the film, or zero in on kind of what he's doing? And if so, what would have stood out about yesterday?
When we watched the whole defense, yeah, I'm kind of peeking at everyone else. What happened with him yesterday, he balled out. I think they put the stats up. I don't know if he had 13, 15 tackles, something like that. Interception, I think a forced fumble or whatever. He had a heck of a game, I know that. So he had a big contribution in helping his team win, especially, again, with that seal the deal interception at the end.
Rob, Matt has talked about, as a defense, even when they're in the red zone, just hang in there, and something good can happen. What do you guys think you learned from getting a couple of takeaways in the red zone? Even the one in the end zone.
Yeah, well, it kills offensive drives, and I think it always puts another spark back in the team, especially when they're so close to scoring, and either you stop them or you get a turnover. That's a lot more energy. So I think it just brings more life back onto the side, regardless of what's going on. That's just another, battery, to keep the energy alive on the sideline.
Robert, did you think you got held a couple times yesterday?
Well, you ask any pass rusher or D lineman, we get held quite often, but somehow the refs don't like to see it or whatever. But I did see a play that thought the ref grabbed for his flag and kind of just turned away. So it is what it is. Just keep playing, and if you get the call, you get it. If not, well, keep on playing.
Are there games if you feel like again, you probably think you get held almost every play, but are there certain games you might have a conversation with an official and just kind of let them know?
Yeah, but that don't typically go well either. They usually come back with saying I'm doing something wrong or this and that. So it's more, you can talk to them all you want. Hopefully they call the games the way they're supposed to, but if not, just play through the circumstances and still try to be successful as possible.
You ever have an opponent admit to you, hey, I got away with one there or anything like that?
I don't know if they said the exact word, but, usually they'll look at you and just kind of smile, something very subtle. But, again, it's football. From their perspective, I'm sure if it's not called, it's not a hold. So, just a tough world we're in dealing with that.
In other sports, stars get calls. Good hitters get balls. Strikes called balls. NBA players get it all the time.
Yeah.
Does that apply in the NBA or in the NFL beyond quarterbacks? Seems like quarterbacks get calls, but
maybe on the defensive side, maybe there's a select few guys, but me, I don't think I'm getting those calls. But
who is?
Huh?
Who is?
Some of the big names. Some of the big names. If I say name the top 5 defensive players, I'm sure 5 just popped in your head, and I'm sure they're the ones getting the calls. So it is what it is.
Will you walk? Go ahead. My turn. Okay. when you're on the sideline watching your offense, I'm curious from like your defensive perspective, like what are you seeing when that run game is going so well for your offensive line specifically?
Well, I mean, I'll flip it. If that was happening to us, it's kind of demoralizing. You know, they can constantly pick up 3, 4, 5 yards by simply running it. You know, it can get frustrating. So, I mean, if we can, again, if our offense can run the ball all game long, pick up 4 or 5 yards a pop, it may not look flashy, you know, the big, deep, you know, the bomb passes, all stuff like that, but it's efficient. They're scoring points, giving us time to rest. So, I mean, there's nothing to complain about. I think it's demoralizing to the other team, and for us, it's like, in a sense, like, I don't know if I'm saying, you know, like boss ball in a sense, and like we basically own the line of scrimmage. So, yeah.
Robert, how big of an NFL fan are you? Do you watch like Monday Night Football? Obviously, you play the Giants next week, but do you typically watch these games, or will you just break down the film once you guys get it here?
You saying, do I watch football? Like,
Well, yeah, like tonight, will you make time to watch the Giants in Dallas?
my wife will probably have it on, so I'll probably catch a few snaps. But yeah, I mean, me personally, like I said, if it's on, I might stop, but I'm not sitting there looking for it. You know, I'm in this building long enough, and I've been doing it a while, so I like to take my breaks at home and just kind of decompress from football.
Your wife's the bigger fan at this point.
Yeah, she always has been. Yeah.
You talked about, when the run game gets going, it can be demoralizing. There were some questions about the Bears' offensive line this offseason. What do you think they've shown by, putting together a pretty good rushing attack?
That they have that we have a great five. Again, I don't know exactly how many rushing yards we had, but yeah. Was it over 200?
281.
281.
Oh, shit. Well, I mean, if you can do that week in, week out, and I'm sure they knew what we were doing on offense, and they couldn't stop it. I mean, I'm sure that's a confidence booster to the O-line, on how great they can be, to the running backs, knowing they got that the O-line going to create holes for them to run through. And, for quarterbacks, again, for an easy day, if you can just constantly hand the ball off all day, I'm sure that's an easy day for a quarterback. But, again, I think it's just them being efficient and making the most of their opportunity.
Did you see this coming in camp? Did you notice the run game? I know it's hard to go. You don't go full speed against the run very often in camp, but did you suspect that the run game was going to be good?
I didn't know what was going to be good. Offense, defense, special teams. I prepare to try to be as great as I can. See everyone else is too. But I mean, practice can look great and game day looks bad. So as long as they show up on game day, I don't care how practice really looks. If you show up on game day, that's the day we all how we keep a job, showing up on game day. So as long as they do that, regardless if they did it in camp or not, they're doing it now in the important time. So, I definitely think that's a confidence booster for them.
You said the run defense was a big emphasis last week in practice. How did you guys emphasize that, and how do you think it played out yesterday?
Well, I think last week we gave up close to 200 yards rushing too. So, I mean, you don't ever want, like I just said about our offense doing this week, it's demoralizing when you can't stop the run. But again, like you said, to bring it back to this week, to have a better control of the game on defense, we have to stop the run to try to make them one-dimensional and, keep them from us being on our heels. And, really, and that's just, in a sense, a manhood type of thing. If you want to stop the run, you just got, as a coach said to me, bow your neck, earn your check. You just got to, again, man up and do your job.